Ia le whionga le Minister si Maloloina o le Minister for i o Tangata Pasifika. Honourable Minister Dr. Shane Reti is with me this morning. Welcome to the show, Morina, and thank you for your time, Honourable Minister.
Maloni, good to speak with you. Happy Tokelau Language Week.
Okay, how are you this morning, Doctor?
I am very good, thank you. Working hard.
Yeah, okay. You were away in Manila last week. I guess it's the WHO conference. Give us an update.
Sure, very important for New Zealand to be playing its role in the international context, international environment. It was a very important meeting. If we imagine that all of the Western Pacific Rim are at that meeting. And if you wanted to see the importance of it, over the weekend that the conference was held, Indonesia had elections, a new government came in, and as was expressed to me, within 4 hours, the brand new Minister of Health was sent to Manila to be part of those discussions. Furthermore, my good friend Valasi, the Minister of Health for Samoa, CHOGM was happening at the same time, and yet his Prime Minister said to him, you need to be in Manila, despite CHOGM happening in Samoa. So it just showed how important this international meeting was, and for New Zealand to take its place at the international table.
What can we expect from, what was discussed in the meeting, and what impact that would give us here in New Zealand? And
there were a wide range of discussions, including the management of the Western Region Office, which is based in Manila, what the pathway for the next 2 years going forward would be. It was a review of the initiatives in the previous 2 years and a review of membership of the forum. So it was quite detailed work.
Okay, well, good to that you had time to talk with the Minister of Health for Samoa, Honourable Valasi. Any more help from New Zealand as far as health is concerned back in the island, in Samoa and the Pacific as well?
Through the Pacific Health Corridors, we contribute significantly into Samoa. If we look at, with the Deputy Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Winston Peters, when we were in Samoa together earlier this year, we announced a Bachelor of Health Science at the University of Samoa. So we contribute and are privileged to be able to contribute to improving and facilitating health outcomes in Samoa, and a key part of that is the Pacific Health Corridors Pathway Program.
Okay, Honourable Minister, there was a question from one of our listeners. They realized that every time they go to see the GP, they have different amount of money they have to pay for them. Why is this? Would you know the reason why?
GPs are private businesses.
Okay.
They're private business owners, and so they can, on one level, charge anything they like.
Right.
One could go to any business and might receive a different price for a set service, but GPs are private business people. They own their business, and so within broad bands, they can set prices as they feel they need to.
Okay, a few months ago, the Needen Hospital were in a mess. I mean, they were complaining they need good hospital in Needen. Any solution for them?
So documents were released last week showing the progress on Needen Hospital going back to when it was first announced in 2016. And what it showed was deterioration in many parts of the Needen Hospital project from 2016-17 through to the present. Look, what I would say, it's a very difficult discussion. It was very difficult for Minister Bishop and I to go down to Dunedin and throw sunlight on what had happened under the previous government and what the pathway going forward might be. But as you've heard the Prime Minister say, we are committed to building a new hospital in Dunedin. That new hospital will need to fit within the $1.88 billion cap.
Okay, Honourable Minister, 2 more months to go for 2024. The last 12 months in the office, are you able to share with us what you have achieved or what you did you didn't
achieve? Look, there's a wide range of things that I'm very proud of that we've been able to achieve. We have to imagine that within weeks of coming into government, we had increased emergency department security. We'd made that emergency measure over Christmas, and then in Budget 25 we were able to enable it ongoing so that our staff and patients in emergency departments are safe. We have announced and put money aside for increasing breast cancer screening. In fact, if we look at the cancer pathway and look at and break it down to the three main ways you can treat cancer, if we look at chemotherapy, first of all, of course, the 600 million cancer drugs announcement, a game changer for New Zealand. I think we'll look back in history and see the Chris Luxon government as a game changer for cancer drugs. Very pleased about that. If we look at the next most common modality, which is, well, say again, actually surgery is the most common, of course. And if you look at surgery, the targets we've got around wait times and the faster cancer target as one of the top five, plus it also sits in my 5 pathologies that I'm paying attention to. So cancer is really receiving attention from me and from this government. And then second, chemotherapy, as I said, the cancer drugs. And then thirdly, radiotherapy. If we look at the new linear accelerators that are coming up in Whangarei and that are proposed for Hawke's Bay and the work that's being done in Taranaki, across the cancer spectrum, you will see us applying a lot of resource. And of course, the joiner, which a lot of people forget, is the NTA, the National Transport Allowance, which helps people travel and accommodate if they have cancer. And $18 million a year, $72 million over 4 years. That joins these three things together.
Yeah.
Cancer, surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy is all joined together by the NTA. So I'm very, very proud of the input we have had into cancer management. A lot of work to do. There is always need out there that we're going to need to keep leaning forward into.
All right. Honourable Minister, one more question, please. Do we still need nurses from overseas? Because why I'm asking you this is because I found out last couple of months, I think, India asking all the nurses make sure they have an opportunity to have a job here in New Zealand before they leave the country. And there was another more country. Do we need nurses from overseas to come to New Zealand?
So how is that unusual to say, look, before you come to New Zealand, make sure you've got a job offer? If you and I went to any country in the world and just turned up and expect to get a job, we might be surprised as well. And so the situation we find ourselves in is that roughly this time last year, there may still have been a need for registered nurses, but as has been expressed by Margie Upper, the significant over-recruitment means we have less of a need for overseas nurses. We still have need for nurses in critical care, in maternity and mental health and addiction, but it is not the same need that we had last year.
Right.
And so we're always wise for people to make sure they have a job offer before they position in a country. And then secondly, the Nursing Council has changed the assessment method for nurses so that you no longer have to come here in New Zealand to start that credentialing process. Actually, the start can be in your own country with the online component, which then leads to the OSCE. And so we've changed the registration, or the Nursing Council has changed the registration pathway, which means that people can do that first part in their home country. But we don't have as much of a need for internationally qualified nurses now as we did last year. And the counterbalance to that is I'm very supportive of our own domestic graduate nurses having a pathway to complete their training.
Okay, before I let you go, Honourable Minister, well, what do you have planned for the last 2 months of the year? Any particular thing you want to achieve?
Oh, yes, there's an awful lot of work. Parliament will be working really hard. We always work hard, but working really hard to make our way through the legislative program. And health will have parts of that as well. There's still a health deficit that Commissioner Levy is working very hard to pull back. There's always a lot of work to do in health. And at the end of the day, we continue to be focused on what we said we would be in the government policy statement on health, around wait times, around immunisation, around faster cancer treatment. So all those things will continue to occupy my full attention.
Honourable Minister Dr. Shane Reti, Whawhetai Tele Lava, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk again in 4 weeks' time.
Tēnā koe.
Whawhetai Lava. Ole Minister, ole Soifua Maloloina.